Hello guys, Captain Jean-Luc Picard here. I'm going to try and give you a really quick overview and explanation of how to use the directional scanner for the first time. And as a quick note, this is going to be done in a low-sec faction warfare environment. You don't need to understand how faction warfare works, you just need to check out the directional scanning bits. It should get you started. So, first of all, the directional scanner, what is it? It's basically a scanner that scans directionally, funny enough. Um, Basically, it allows you to scan in a certain direction up to a range of 14.3 AU maximum. Um, it scans anything you want it to see really, but its biggest function is to find ships and not be able to directly warp to them. The idea is to scan the direction they're in and warp to a celestial object like a planet or a moon or whatever in the direction they're in. So it's important to know it doesn't allow you to warp directly to a target or an ally or whatever. It just shows you which direction they're in. Finding them is then up to you. So, first of all, what you want to do is open the directional scanner, and to do that, you just want to look at your capacitor circle down here. You've got a scanner button to the left of that. Click that. Directional scanner is this little button on the right. Click that to open it. And I would recommend having the probe scanner if you're doing faction warfare as well. That'll show you where the plexes and the sights are. I have them both in the same window here. You can have them wherever you want to on your screen. So here we go, the directional scanner. So it's a pretty simple interface. You have, first of all, you need a properly set up overview to make this clutter-free and just give you the info you need. If you don't have a working overview, or you're using the default one, for example, you're welcome to join the public channel Vanu. Join that, click the overview in there, and it'll load in the one that we use here. But my point there is that it's important to have use overview preset ticked. That means that it's only going to show you the info that you have set to each tab. So PvE here, for example, it would show you all kinds of crap. PvP, it just tends to show you the ships, stations, no clutter from POS stations or anything nearby. So it's nice and simple. So in other words, always have this ticked in the top left corner of the directional scanner. You then have the range of the directional scan up to a maximum of 14.3 AU, down to a minimum of 0, which is utterly pointless. Really 1 is as low as you want to go. You can adjust the size either manually yourself by writing in here, like 5, enter, that does 5 AU, or you can slide this bar up here, 1, 5, 10, 14.3, etc. Full to the right, that's maximum range, full to the left is minimum. You then have the angle of the directional scan, which goes all the way from 5 degrees to 360, and the angle of the directional scan is actually shown here in this little circle piece. It shows you the current angle that you're scanning at in a visual form. Now, it's important to point out that the directional scanner uses the direction that your camera is looking at, not the direction of the ship. So you don't have to move your ship in the direction you want to scan. That's completely irrelevant. It's only the way that your camera looks. And so if you imagine looking around with your camera at an angle of say 90 degrees, as pictured in the little half circle piece here, you can imagine that wherever I'm looking and wherever you're looking in this direction, it's scanning in that kind of angle. You get used to using it eventually, however, it does take a little bit of getting used to. So that's important to know. It doesn't matter which way your ship is facing or moving, it's only your camera. So on that note, the first pro tip we have here is you need a good way to aim your camera, and there's a simple way to find the center piece, the center point of your camera, so you can move it around and aim it at stuff, and that is simply by holding the left Alt key. If you hold left Alt, you'll get a little square appearing in the center of your ship here. You see that flashing? That is the center of the ship, and that's how you aim the directional scanner. So wherever this is looking, wherever the little square in the middle is facing, that is the center point of the angle you're scanning, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So let's use this as an example then. I'm going to say scan this belt over here. There's got an asteroid belt that's currently 2.8 AU away, so that's well within range. So ultimately what you want to do is try and find the enemy ship, whatever you're looking for, try and get the narrowest angle of a scan on that target so that you can see exactly where they are. It can be tricky if there's a cluster of celestials like this, that you got a customs office on a planet is always two that's together. Sometimes you have stations and then the sun behind and stuff like that. It can get messy, so you might have to warp around every now and then. to get a clear view on just one celestial. But right now we have this asteroid belt completely on its own, and so all you would simply do to scan this asteroid belt to see if there's anything inside it, if you only want to scan that asteroid belt, reduce it down to a 5-degree angle. It's within 2.8 AU, so you can either do a full range scan or anything above 2.8 AU. We'll do 5, for example. There's nothing there at the moment, but if there was a ship there, for example, or whatever you're scanning for, it would show up in that direction. Now, upon entering a system, I'm going to recommend that you always do a 360-degree scan, max range. That's going to show you anything that's within 14.3 AU of you. That includes anything packed inside a player-owned station, anchored on a moon. It can include clutter like that. It doesn't mean they're all active ships, but it will show you any ships that are basically bobbing around your overview, that may be a threat, maybe a target, or you just want to be aware of. So at that point, for example, you can have a look through this list. Within 14.3 AU of me at the moment, it's showing that there's a Miasmos, a Hauler, an Iteron 5, a Merlin frigate, a rookie ship, another frigate, and then we have 3 Stargates and a Sun, which I have enabled on this particular overview tab right now. So in faction warfare, it's not uncommon that you would want to try and hunt an enemy ship, and so being able to identify the direction certain ships are in is really good. So we're going to try and find this Merlin. I saw him travelling around earlier. His site seems to have closed. But let's try and have a go. So what you would do is you would look for these pinpoints, these celestial pinpoints in the system. 9 times out of 10 people are going to be around those. If they're in a safe spot, where I am now, which is a safe spot, if you don't know what that is, it's a bit too much to cover in the depth of this video. But I'm basically parked in a safe spot, a bookmark in the middle of nowhere between a Stargate and a Sun. There's no celestial object near me, so although you may be able to scan me if you're at the Sun and you're looking at where I'm kind of in the middle of the Stargate there, for example, you'll be able to see me, but upon warping from the Sun to that Stargate, you'll find that I'm not there, and I'm now showing on scan back towards the Sun. So it only shows you direction. If you're sat in a safe spot, you're going to need probes to be able to catch them. Combat probes are a totally different thing, so try checking out a video of that somewhere. But right now we have a few Celestials in system. It's faction warfare this, so most people are around these plexes. We've only got 1 plex open in system, a medium outpost. It's within 1.07 AU. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce the scan angle to 15 degrees. That's max range, there's nothing behind it, so there's nothing cluttering, and we have right there a Merlin. We've identified that the Merlin, without doubt, is inside this plex. So I'm going to use this as an example. So we would warp to the medium outpost here. Again, it's a faction warfare thing, you don't need to know what that is. It's warping to a celestial, an object, the direction that you've scanned him in. We're going to land on the gate, and what you want to do in this particular instance in faction warfare is reduce your scan range to 1 AU, flip the angle to 360 degrees. That's going to show you anything within 1 AU. We see that the Merlin is inside the site, which is generally always within 1 AU. It's right there. The inside this plex is this little arrow, downward arrow here. So within 1 AU, the Merlin is inside. So I've already agreed with this guy that I'm not going to shoot him. He's actually helped me by sticking around. So I'm not going to go inside, but in a real live combat situation, you've just managed to directional scan an enemy target, find his exact location, and guarantee yourself a high chance of a fight, or at least a target to shoot at upon entering the site. You know, without doubt he's in there. And all you do is simply repeat that same process constantly for whatever situation you're in. And you constantly want to be aware of your surroundings. You know, if you're not doing anything in particular, you're just maybe scouting for a fleet or whatever, just keep 360 max range D-scan going, check your surroundings, see what's going on, report anything suspicious, if anything new pops up, maybe a target pops up on D-scan, and then try and narrow down their location. See if I can give you another example. I'm going to, as a more defensive way of using the directional scan, I'm going to warp to a novice outpost, which again is a faction warfare term, you don't need to know what that is. I'm going to warp to it. For faction warfare, it pops that up for everybody on your overview at this point, so everybody now sees the novice outpost just opened, everyone can warp to it freely, and so you need to be on your toes. So you land on the gate, you start doing what you call short range scans, which can be 1 AU, can be 5 AU. I prefer 1 because 1 AU is going to show you from inside the site, it's going to show you anybody just about to land on the gate outside. So it gives you a chance to run away or to, get an idea of what the enemy is in, what the fleet composition is, things like that. And then as a defensive purpose, what you want to do is just keep that short range D-scan going constantly. It doesn't matter if you're in a fight, whether it's against an NPC like this that I have to kill, or you're just generally waiting for the timer to count down, or whatever you're doing in whatever area of space, you need to keep this D-scan going. So in this particular example, I'm doing 360-degree 1 AU D-scan to check the outside of the gate and anything that might be approaching or in warp to the gate. And I'm just constantly scanning every, say, 3 to 5 seconds. Just scan, scan, scan. Do this while you're in fleet. Call out anything that may be landing, or anything that could be a threat. Do this during PvP. This is how you see if the enemy has reinforcements coming. You need to know whether to bail or to change primary if something new is coming in. Stuff like that. So it's absolutely necessary for PvP to be able to use the directional scan properly, and it's something that so many new players aren't taught. I don't know if the tutorials show people how to do that, but not many new players are aware that it even exists or how to use it. So it's really good tool to use, very simple to use, bit of practice, you'll be really fast. And yeah, you'll help keep yourself alive, you'll help keep your fleet alive, and be a little bit more useful. So I hope that helps. If it didn't, I apologise. Not much I can do about that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you need help with anything, by all means contact Captain Jean-Luc Picard in game, or join the channel Vanu, and give us a shout. We'll do what we can to help you. So thanks for watching, and good luck.